evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we get ready for race number 24 of the season for the NNSCRA Hershey's Cup Series. We're getting set to go racing under the lights at Hillside International Raceway. So far this weekend, it's been absolutely incredible, the racing that we have seen, and we are getting ready to cap things off with a 60-lap event here at this mile racetrack. Under the lights here this evening, a couple of drivers on the front row that would love to be able to get themselves an extra bonus point for winning their second race of the season here, as they are at this point locked into the chase for the championship. J Shelton on the pole alongside of Trent Dunham. Shelton going to victory lane at Darlington. Trent Dunham going to victory lane at Rio de Janeiro. Behind them, you got J McCloud. He's looking for his third win of the season, trying to tie his teammate Dylan Poteet with 3 wins this year. And then look behind them. Z Flickinger, Levi McIntire, Sean Gallighan, Brandon Gonzales, K Tellier. As I'm getting interrupted for the command. All drivers that are looking for their first win of the season and trying to shake things up, get themselves into the chase for the championship, with only a handful of races left remaining to be able to get into the chase for the championship. After this race, they're going to have 2 more chances to get into the chase. And we got a driver in trouble already. That's the 48 of K Llamas. He's going to come to pit road. That's not good for him. Former winner this season at the Springfield Mile. Have to see if he can get back out on track before going multiple laps down. So we get set to turn him loose. 60 laps. It's going to be split into 20, 20, 20 for our 3 stages. Green flag is out. Shelton on the inside line trying to get the advantage, but there's 3 cars lined up high, and they're keeping it somewhat even with that inside line. Now Gallighan switches lanes, and that's going to move the inside line forward. Shelton to the point, McCloud into second. Shelton will lead the first lap here this evening, but here comes McCloud now for the inside line, trying to take that top position. McCloud trying to join the likes of his teammate Dylan Poteet, Mason Powers, and Charles Sandfer as a 3-time winner in a single season in a Hershey's Cup Series season. And Gallighan now goes to the point. Gallighan, who hasn't been to victory lane since the season-opening Daytona 500 back in Season 3. Levi McIntire, who hasn't been to victory lane since Las Vegas in Season 2. There's last time out's winner, L Alvarise. You see that blue car on the inside line behind Brandon Gonzales. Going to victory lane last week at Pikes Peak, his second win of the season. And that moved him up into the top 30 in the point standings. Now he's just trying to get consistent enough finishes to keep himself in the top 30 in points. And he's bringing teammate, former champion of this series, C Dodd, along with him into third. 3 wide back here. It's okay. This track can hold him 3 wide. 4 wide's when it starts to get a little bit testy. No love for the 2-time winner, J McCloud. They freight trained him in the middle, and L Alvarise is now going to move Sean Gallighan out of the way. He's going to try and go to the point. Fitzwater looking for his first win of the season. Srigley looking for his second. He's another driver that was kind of like L Alvarise was last week, outside the top 30 in the points. Srigley 35th in points coming into this race. J Bryant trying to pick up his second win of the season. And that 22 car, he'll move to 3rd place now as Fitzwater out in front. Srigley now going to try to go for the race lead. Be expecting a lot of words relating to race lead this evening, because they swap the lead all the time here. That's what I love about this track. It's almost like you never know. It's almost like kind of who's going to be in the right place at the right time to be able to take the lead off turn 4, because they swap at every turn. K Mathews, defending champion, nearly wrecking J Bryant for the race lead. He's bringing Benjamin Miles along with him, who comes into this race in a rather precarious spot in the point standings. Winner at the Glen, but he's got to keep himself in the top 30 in the standings to have that win count towards a chase spot. Here comes Dylan Poteet. Went to victory lane 3 weeks ago at Daytona, picking up his 3rd win of the season. That puts him with Charles Sandfer and Mason Powers as only 3 drivers to hold 3 victories in a single Hershey's Cup Series season. Mason Powers did it back in Season 2. Or I'm sorry, in Season 1, I should say. Sandfer did it back in Season 2. Benjamin Miles might have gotten the wall there off of 2. Fortunately, everybody able to get through. Look what's worked up here. K Tellier. Oh, not K Tellier, I'm sorry, B Tellier, rather. Seth Cole, Nick Gunther. These are 3 drivers that raced their way in via the non-charter event here a couple of nights ago. Non-charter drivers that started at the rear of the field are now up inside the top 10. Seth Cole was the winner of said non-charter race. Look who's leading. K Tsang in the 28, who went to victory lane at Eldora. Now things are not looking up for K Tsang to make the chase for the championship, regardless of her win at Eldora. I think the charter swap between Tsang and Srigley may have taken place just a little too late, because K Tsang comes into this race a full 150 plus points out of 30th in the standings. But just trying to pick up as many wins as she can here this season, looking for win number 2, as she's going to have to hold off a guy who already has experience at this track. That's Seth Cole in the 79. He won here in the non-charter event, and there's a car up ahead. That's K Llamas, who had to come to pit road for an unscheduled stop at the drop of the green flag. They're going to catch him. He is already a lap down. He'll now go 2 laps down, and look at this. Furniture Row Racing Toyotas, 1-2, Seth Cole and M Haas. Garrett Sydnor right there in the 38. And you see Seth Cole letting M Haas on by. You got to think that Seth Cole, looking at the bigger picture, trying to get M Haas locked into the chase for the championship. Already a win this season at Talladega, but certainly wouldn't turn his nose up at a second trip to the victory lane. Neither would Garrett Sydnor, who went to victory lane this season at Bristol Dirt. Nick Gunther there in the 7, trying to pick up his first career win in the Hershey's Cup Series, and he's bringing Zachary Fitzwater and Tim Walsh along with him. How about that 15? So far this season, Michael Norman Motorsports, 0 wins between Brooke Allen, Nathan Hudson, and Tim Walsh. And I believe in every season of Hershey's Cup, there's been at least 1 representative from Michael Norman Motorsports. See what Tim Walsh can do here now on the back bumper of Nick Gunther. So far, so green. We are about a quarter of the way through this race, and we know for certain that these drivers cannot make it the full 60 laps on fuel. We had green flag pit stops in last night's 40-lap event in the Pizza Hut X Series. 3 wide back there, that's for 4th. Stephen Paul with the 3rd, the inside of Garrett Sydnor, backs out, thinks better of it. And now Sydnor going to get a big run there on Seth Cole as the battle's on for the lead. Tim Walsh makes the move on Nick Gunther, and the National Guard Chevrolet will take a turn out in front, but for how long? Here comes Seth Cole on the bottom. They're going to drag race for who's going to lead this lap, and it will be the Toyota Camry of Seth Cole leading the lap here. But for how long? Garrett Sydnor to the inside, 3 wide going into 1. I just love the fact we were supposed to go to Salem this race weekend, and don't take anything away from Salem Raceway. It had really good racing last season. However, I don't think that we can be disappointed with the action we have seen here at Hillside International Raceway. No doubt about it. I think this is definitely going to be a track that will come back on the schedule next season. Where it will slot in, I don't know. But I think it's definitely made a clear case for itself to be on the schedule permanently in both Pizza Hut X Series and Hershey's Cup Series action. Sounds like we may be encountering some traffic in a few minutes. Sounded like an idling engine up ahead, and that is indeed the case. That's Cole Baker in the 18. And he is off the pace. They're catching him really quickly. So problems early for Cole Baker. Chances of him making his 2nd straight chase for the championship continuing to dwindle away. As now M Haas will move to the lead. Kind of used Cole Baker as a pick to get by Garrett Sydnor, and he's bringing Fitzwater and L Alvarise along with him. Mentioned last week when Alvarise went to victory lane at Pikes Peak how that was his first season as a 2-time winner. He had had a win previously back in season 2 at Freeway. Right now he's en route to being up here potentially, get himself his 3rd win of the season. Trying to remember back to when the drivers in the Pizza Hut X Series race made their pit stops. And I think it was somewhere between laps 26 to 28. So that's probably when we'll start to see these drivers pitting. That's only about 3 to 5 laps away. Alvarise going to go for second place, and take a look who is up here. I mean, I've seen the last couple of weeks. Keith Batson had a good run at Daytona. K Tellier had a good run last week at Pikes Peak. She had a good run at Thornton. You know, I was looking, I'm thinking, you know, it's not too far off where we're going to see Lincoln get its first win in Hershey's Cup Series competition. However, I wasn't thinking of K Tellier as that possibility. She's having a really good run here tonight, now in that third position. So be watching for that 11 in the closing stages, maybe trying to get Lincoln their first win in Hershey's Cup Series history with a non-charter driver. Battle for the lead is on. Lee and Alvarise side by side with M Haas. And Alvarise trying to clear off of 4 and will do so. So Alvarise out in front, familiar sight from what we saw last week at Pikes Peak, but now we're going to get ganged up on by the Toyota Camrys. M Haas with wingman Seth Cole, his teammate, and they are going to go by Brandon Gonzales in the 23, put him a lap down. So I think we have now 3 cars off the lead lap. Gonzales, Baker, and Cody Llamas. And Gonzales, his car was idling. He was a full 20 seconds back. I think it's going to be a while before we have lap traffic to deal with for M Haas now, because the next car running, last car in the lead lap, Dallas McIntosh, is only 4 seconds back from the race leader. And here we go. The pit stops begin. Zachary Fitzwater will be the first one to dive to the pit lane. If I can get to him. There he is. He's on pit road. Michaels, Shelton, McIntire, the lap car of Baker, and Emmanuel Hartnett hitting pit lane this time. So they were able to go a little bit longer than I expected. Seth Cole's in now. Nick Gunther. I think that was McCloud, K Tellier, Cole Deaver, Hudson, Bryant, Walsh, Poteet, Flickinger, McCrury, Sandfer, Miles, Srigley, Chris Dodd, M McIntire, along with Blaine Keys and Dallas McIntosh. And now here comes another group of cars. M Haas, K Tellier, Leon Alvarise, Pollard. A couple of drivers staying out. That turns the lead over to Garrett Sydnor. I believe J Baskinger, Johnny Gardner stayed out, along with Dylan Young. And will we see Sydnor in this time? Nope, he's going to stay out an extra lap. What about Baskinger? Is he coming in? Yes, he is. And Dylan Young is. So now we're waiting on Gardner and Sydnor to be the last 2 cars to hit pit lane. You have to think Sydnor's going to have to come in this time. And he's going to have problems getting to pit road. He's going to not make it. Whoa! Sydnor was trying to get to pit road, and oh boy, he might be out of fuel. Sydnor was trying to get to pit lane. He had Nathan Hudson to the inside, and problems for Garrett Sydnor in the 38. I think that car is out of fuel. Oh my goodness, what a tough break for him. And trouble up ahead! Johnny Gardner has spun. The caution is out. Those were the 2 cars that stayed out that extra lap. Sydnor and Gardner. Sydnor runs out of fuel, and Gardner has been spun. I wonder if Gardner missed the pit lane as well. Caution is out, and I think this is going to cycle the lead potentially to the 5 of J Baskinger. We will see. Garrett Sydnor still trying to get around to the pit road entrance. Wow, what an amazing turn of events that was. So Sydnor, we know, missed pit road due to Nathan Hudson. We don't know what happened to Gardner, but it may just shake this lineup up. I think it's Baskinger who's the race leader, with Dylan Young in second. We'll get the official word, though, in just a moment, as we'll step aside, take a look at a replay of what brought out this caution. Well, Johnny Gardner did not miss pit road. He was actually staying out an extra lap here, but then, let's see what happens off of 2. You saw just at the start of the replay. Oh, wait. Oh, did he run out of fuel? I think he did. He actually did run out of fuel. Shelton's going to get into the back of him up the racetrack, and then he's going to go around off the nose of Levi McIntire, A little bit of contact there as well with the 15 of Tim Walch. And that's why his car didn't drive away from the incident, was because that car was also out of fuel. Although I don't think Johnny Gardner's car didn't go down to the apron like Garrett Sydnor's did, so I don't know if he was necessarily blocked from coming to pit road. He just ran it out of fuel. So our winner from Rockingham a couple of weeks ago in trouble here tonight, as he runs out of fuel right in front of the field, and that brings out our first caution of the evening, just past the halfway point. Now, we haven't gotten the 1 to green signal yet, but this is a very interesting scenario because this is your race leader, J Baskinger. Dylan Young is in second. The two of them are 39 seconds ahead of third place, which is M Haas, who is at the front of this pack. The way they crossed the line, Baskinger was the leader, and all these other drivers behind him are a lap down. They're going to come up here to the inside line a lap down. So, very interesting circumstances here. Baskinger's the leader, Dylan Young second, then it's M Haas, K Tellier, Nick Gunther, K Tellier, Pollard, Alvarise, McCloud, and Srigley. So in order for everything to really get settled back out, we're going to need another caution flag, and I don't think that necessarily is going to happen. So this is going to be the battle for the lead here at the very back of the pack between Baskinger and Dylan Young. What a timely caution that was for these two. And they are almost 50 seconds ahead of third place, M Haas, who will start at the front of this field with the pace car heading to pit road. We have a total of 36 cars currently scored on the lead lap, and I think they'll be scored a lap down when we cross the line here. Green flag back out. Caitlin Tsang has taken her car behind the walls. A tough break for 28. Don't know what necessarily has happened there. Well, actually, no, these drivers here are on the tail end of the lead lap as well that line up in the inside line because they actually are ahead of race leader J Baskinger. This is the battle for the lead, folks, and there's only two drivers to battle for it. Baskinger in the 5, Dylan Young in the 2. So now this throws a whole interesting scenario in with the fact that Baskinger's en route to maybe picking up his second win of the season. He's already at this point locked into the chase. Dylan Young, on the other hand, he's trying to pick up his first win of the season to get himself into the chase. Dylan Young's last win came back in Season 2 at Homestead Miami Speedway, and that was a win that took place during the chase for the championship, so he wasn't able to be in the hunt for the championship that year. Losing ground here, Cole Baker, Joseph Srigley, Chris Dodd in between the 5 and the 2. Like I said, those guys up ahead that are running third on back, they need a caution. Baskinger showing the way. Dylan Young trying to get around Chris Dodd's 88. To catch Dylan Poteet here. Baskinger caught up on the high side. Can Dylan Young do anything with the 5? To the inside he goes, and he will go to the race lead. So Dylan Young showing the way, trying to pick up Young Motorsports' second win of the season, first of Season 4 for him, and now he's going to have to hold off Baskinger again because Baskinger back to the bottom, getting by Dylan Poteet, and he will pull up to the left rear quarter panel. 3 wide, almost contact between the two race leaders. Oh, there's a wreck! We've got a spin! John Arndt's involved, and Dylan Young was in it! Dylan Young's in it, so is Dylan Poteet. Baskinger was in it too. The top two were collected. Sydnor's upside down. There's the caution that those other drivers needed. And the yellow flag will wave for the second time tonight, and oh my goodness. Baskinger and Dylan Young, who were en route to having it be settled between the two of them for the race win potentially, are involved in this wreck. Poteet is involved. Tim Walch, Blaine Keys, J Arndt. There's Baskinger, you just saw him. And the race lead's going to go to Benjamin Miles now, because that was the battle going on for third, and all of a sudden that's turned into a battle for the race lead, and now Benjamin Miles is out in front ahead of Hartnett, McIntire, Gonzales, and I believe Gallighan. And here comes Miles to pit road. Pit road is open, and Miles is going to come to the pit lane, as will Emmanuel Hartnett. Jake Baskinger and Dylan Young were battling for the race lead, both involved. Dylan Young, I'm certain, is going to the garage area. Baskinger, they're going to try and get that car repaired. This will turn the race lead over, I believe, to Levi McIntire. And just what was seeming to be a confusing race has gotten even more confusing. We're going to take a look at a replay. We'll be right back. Well, this was theoretically a battle for around the 6th, 7th position. Contact between J Arndt and L Alvarise just clips SP3. Cole Deaver up into the wall as well. And then this is where it gets very interesting, because remember, the two race leaders, Baskinger and Dylan Young, were at the tail end of the field. Well, what goes up must come down, and unfortunately it's right down in the vicinity of where the two leaders come in. There's where Dylan Young gets involved. He gets nailed from behind by Dylan Poteet, who then gets clobbered by Cole Baker. Poteet's car going to go upside down. And then if we move further up here to... not certain which car it was that slid down. Might have been the 66 of Deaver. Somebody slides down here in front of these other drivers. Oh no, we had another wreck. Oh, it was Trent Dunham got turned. Drivers getting to the inside trying to avoid. Oh! Trent drives it down deep. He gets the apron. Not once but twice. That shoots him back up into Joshua Sakuli. Spins him around off the nose of Kyle Mathews. Mathews up into Cody Llamas. And then here's where the problem is. These drivers then going to drift down the track as well. Chris Dodd, Anthony McCrury getting involved. There they are stacking up. Oh, and Garrett Sinner gets nailed by his teammate Baskinger. Shelton and Bryant involved as well. There's the 88 of Chris Dodd getting contact with Blaine Keys and Joseph Srigley. So we had a wreck and then a follow-up wreck. And who would have thought that the top two on that restart, who looked like they were going to settle it out between the two of them for this win, end up getting involved. Sydnor upside down. Dylan Poteet upside down. Big-time wreck with big-time consequences and maybe big-time results in the closing stages of this race here at Hillside. As we're waiting for the 1 to go signal, we'll be restarting, looks like, somewhere with less than 15 laps to go. And I hope to God I didn't jinx this race when I said that these drivers all needed a caution flag, because it certainly looks like that was the case, that I jinxed this race. We will go back green. It will be with 15 laps to go. Exactly. Levi McIntire, after all that, now cycles around as the race leader. Second place is Sean Gallighan, Nathan Hudson, J McCloud, and Zachary Fitzwater. That's your top 5. We're actually going to be able to look up at the front of the field again in the battle for the race lead. Z Flickinger, Joshua Sakuli, Matt Haas, K Tellier, and Keith Batson. That is your top 10. But more importantly, drivers out of the race. Jessica Shelton's out of the race. Dylan Young is retired out, along with Garrett Sydnor, Dylan Poteet, Tim Walsh, J Arndt. They join Caitlin Tsang in the garage area. There you see the drivers on the inside line that'll be off the lead lap. Johnny Gardner, Blaine Keys, Cole Baker, along with Cody Llamas and Brandon Gonzales. J Baskinger still running. He's currently scored 23rd on the lead lap. 15 laps to go here tonight at Hillside. What else is going to happen? Green flag back in the air. Inside line not going. Johnny Gardner way off the pace. As now the battle on between Sean Gallighan and Levi McIntire. A couple of double numbers. Double 4 versus double 9. And neither have been to victory lane yet this season. Neither has third place Nathan Hudson. And, I was thinking back, we've had the last two races. We've had repeat winners. Poteet at Daytona, Alvarise at Pikes Peak. Think about it. Those are drivers that have nothing to lose. They've already won this season. So these guys up here that are still looking for their first win of the season, they are obviously looking to, keep themselves in contention in the closing stages to even be eligible for the win. So they're not quite willing to push it as far to the limit as drivers that do have a win. So watch right here. You got McCloud, a 2-time winner. I bet you he's going to race Sean Gallighan pretty hard. Well, he may not get the chance. Here comes Joshua Sakuli on the inside line, the 33. Highest running of the non-charter drivers out of CJ Racing. Good run right now for that eggplant something company, Chevrolet. I can't think of what the company's called. Eggplant Unlimited, I think it's called, maybe. And now he may lose the race lead. Here comes Matt Haas to the inside, bringing Flickinger along with him. Flickinger had a good run going last week at Pikes Peak, but Never really was able to get up to the front there in the closing stages. And look at the Lincolns. K Tellier and Keith Batson up here. So we will have 10 laps to go next time by, and we've got about 10, 11 cars up here in this lead pack. A number of them looking for their first win of the season. Hudson, Tellier, Flickinger, Batson, Gallighan, Srigley, and McIntire all have yet to go to victory lane this year. Wow, what if that had been the finish? Photo finish between M Haas and Nathan Hudson, but Hudson now will take the race lead. Nathan Hudson looking for his first win since Season 2 at Lime Rock when he won as a non-chartered ride in the number 7 out of Michael Norman Motorsports. And here come the Lincolns to the bottom. K Tellier with teammate Keith Batson in tow. 9 cars up in this lead pack. Out of these 9 cars, only 2 of them have been to victory lane this season. McCloud in the 51, M Haas in the 78. Side by side, teammates Batson on the bottom, Tellier up top. Batson will go to the top position. 7.5, or actually no, make that 7 to go. 8 to go. Never mind. McCloud to the point, trying to pick up his 3rd win of the season. First season as a chartered ride, and what a season it's been. Whoa! Almost throws a block on McIntire, but McIntire was there and he wasn't going to lift. All of a sudden we got Zachary Fitzwater up in this group now as well. So now 10 cars up here, but still only 2 cars have been to victory lane so far this season. McIntire to the point. Here's Gallighan. Will he look to the inside going into 3? Yes, he will. It's almost like watching a super speedway race. 5 cars down low, 5 cars up top. Which line's going to move? Gallighan leads that lap, and we've got traffic up ahead. Chris Dodd, Johnny Gardner, Cody Llamas. It's going to stack them all up here at the front. They got to go somewhere. Srigley trying to go somewhere. He can't. He's boxed in down low. Gallighan boxed in up high. This could get really hairy in the closing stages. They got to move him somehow, and Srigley found a way. He'll go to the point. Flickinger moves to 2nd. Fitzwater to 3rd. M Haas to 4th. That inside line got going, and they got by. Now McCloud's going to go by. Batson goes by. Gallighan got the short end of the stick on all of that. And now Flickinger to the point. Fitzwater moves to 2nd. 4 laps to go here at Hillside. Still anybody's game. M Haas now for 2nd off of Fitzwater. Battle on for 4th between Hudson and Srigley. Flickinger enjoying the view for the moment. But for how long? Oh, and Flickinger's got a pit! They got a pit here in the closing stages. Are you kidding me? Now it's come down to a fuel strategy race. Gunther's on pit road. Alvarise is on pit road as Hudson goes to the lead. Srigley into 2nd. He wants to take the lead. Is anybody going to have to pit this lap up here in this lead group? And McCloud's coming to pit road. 2 to go here at Hillside. Who's willing to risk it on gasoline? Srigley to the point. Hudson, he might be out of fuel. He drifted way up high there out of 2. Here they come to the front straightaway. Anybody going to make the dive to pit road? No, they're going to risk it. White flag, 1 more lap to go. Slow car, L Alvarise. K Tellier drives it deep to the bottom. She'll go to the race lead. Gallighan there in 2nd. Gallighan going to look to the bottom. This is going to be the battle here to the stripe. Tellier low, Gallighan high. Oh no, Baskinger in the way. Gallighan clears him. Off turn 4 for the final time. Sean Gallighan is going to pick up his first win of the season here tonight at Hillside. Almost shades of what we saw back in 2001 between Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick. Side by side through the final few corners, a slower car on the inside line. Gallighan had to switch his lane from low to middle. Tellier had to move from middle to high. And Gallighan kept his foot in the throttle and will pick up the victory here tonight. And with that, Sean Gallighan may have just clinched himself a spot in the chase for the championship. As a matter of fact, correct me if I'm wrong, he may have clinched himself a spot in his first ever Hershey's Cup Series chase for the championship. Last season, he won the Daytona 500, but he was so far down in the point standings that win didn't count towards a spot in the chase. This season, he may have finally gotten his revenge for last year. And K Tellier, a bridesmaid once again. She finished second to Baskinger back at Thornton. She almost got it done here tonight. She was the leader on the white flag lap, and S Gallighan was able to get by her in the closing stages. But what a finish! I said before, Hillside has made a case for itself to be on the schedule next season, and I think that may have just iced it. No doubt about it. What a finish. Came down to fuel strategy at the end. And look at the drivers that finished top four. All drivers that at this point coming into this race tonight had not been to victory lane. They were willing to run out of fuel for a chance to get in the chase. Gallighan with the win, Tellier in second, Josh was a coolie, highest finishing non-charter car. What a great run for him tonight. Nathan Hudson brings it home fourth, Matt Haas in fifth with Fitzwater, Levi McIntire, Matt McIntire, great run for that, Buick in eighth, ninth for Joshua Michaels, and the winner of our non-charter race here a couple nights ago, Seth Cole, brings it home in 10th. Brooke Allen gets an 11th place run. Benjamin Miles going to finish the night out in 12th with Anthony McCrury, the last car to finish on the lead lap, in 13th place. Those were the drivers that were able to stretch it on fuel. Finishing one lap down in 14th, K Tellier, a great run for her. Then you've got Brandon Gonzales, Z Flickinger, J Batson, J McCloud, Dallas McIntosh, and E Hartnett. That was your top 20. As we look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, there you see them all. We had 35 cars finish the race, only 12 of them on the lead lap. And out of the race were the cars of Jessica Shelton, Dylan Young, Garrett Sydnor, Dylan Poteet, Tim Walsh, J Arndt, and Caitlin Tsang. So that is going to do it this evening from Hillside International Raceway. What an unbelievable race that was. Next week, it's going to be another off week for the non-charter series of the Hershey's Cup Series as well as the Pizza Hut X Series, as we're going to be heading road course racing at Yas Marina Circuit for the Hershey's Cup Series drivers. That should be a very interesting endurance race. Then after that, we end up having our regular season finale for the Pizza Hut X Series take place at Kentucky Speedway. And then after that, it's the Hershey's Cup Series back again for their regular season finale at M&M's Super Speedway. So thank you all for tuning into tonight's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a video like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finish results. Up next, it's your rookie points as well as your overall points, as after this race, we've now only got 2 more stops till we're going to know who's going to be in the chase for the Hershey's Cup Series Championship. Is S Gallighan in with this win? We'll have to wait and find out. We'll see you guys next time, as you've been watching Production NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.